Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. It's the 26th, I think, today. Is it? Let's have a look. Indeed, it is the 26th of March. We're coming towards the end of, I don't know, like spring, is it? I don't know what, like in the UK, it's a bit different over here. We don't really have a spring. It's sort of winter and then it's summer. And the clocks go forward on Saturday, don't forget. So that'll be good. Looking forward to that. Hope everyone's all right. We just have a little catch up today, really. See how everyone's feeling. Uh, after all the bloody bedwetting at the weekend and all that sort of stuff, thought I'd just come on, see how everyone is, have a little catch up, talk a bit of crap for a bit. You know how it is. Always good to do that. And see who's around. Hopefully, you're going to come and say hello. A few people have been asking me this week, where have you been? Like, why haven't you done some lives? They didn't really, we did one on Monday and I haven't done one since. There's not really an awful lot to talk about since Monday. I'm not the biggest follower of international football. Don't really excite me too much. So, we don't really have much to talk about. Anyway, let's have a little look and see who's here. If anyone is, of course. Well, we've got a couple of people watching us, so let's expand the comments and see if anyone's commented yet. Not yet. So come and say hello. Let me know that you're okay. How is everyone? Tell me what you're thinking. What's your feelings? We haven't got a game for God knows how long. When's the next game? I told my mate this morning, he's an Everton supporter, and they ain't got a game for like nearly 3 weeks or something. I'm guessing we're playing at the weekend, the FA Cup weekend, or are we? I could have just looked before I came on, but I just forgot. I've come in more or less straight from work actually. I've had a pretty busy day today. Well, I haven't. I sort of had a bit of a busy day, and then I went and got my hair cut on the way home, and blah blah blah. We're an hour in front of you, so it's now like 10 to 2, 2 o'clock, 5 to 2. So here I am. Just waiting for some people to load up and come and talk. Please do let me see ya. Come and talk to me. Nobody here yet. That's very unusual. We haven't got anyone on yet, but we'll give it a minute. We're not really due to be on for another 3 minutes, so always, as you know, I'll come on early, so I'll just hang on a little bit. See who's going to come and say hello. Who's going to be the first one to register a comment today? We've got one from Steve Connolly. How you doing, Steve? I hope you're all right, mate. Do you know what? I need my glasses. I'm getting terrible. I think one of my lenses is playing up a little bit though, so sometimes it's a little bit hard to read. That's why I peer forward sometimes. Yeah, good morning, Steve, or good afternoon, Steve. It's just about morning still. I hope you're all right, mate. Everyone, good morning from Spain, whilst it's still morning for you. Um, we got Steve Lines on. Hi, Steve. It looks like the CD haters have calmed down now. I, I don't honestly get it. I was thinking about this before I came on. I've spoke to a few Blues fans over the week. We went out with a load of Blues fans at the weekend, last weekend, and some of the stuff people are saying is like, so last Saturday was the worst they've ever seen a Blues team perform. Someone said, I've been a Blues fan for 60 years. I've never seen anything like that. You must have had your fucking face facing the other way, pal, because I'll tell you what, where the pitch is, it's that big green thing. You're probably looking the wrong way. Because if that's the worst you've ever seen Blues play, I don't know where you've been. It ain't the worst I've ever seen them play. We've had much worse performances, much worse seasons, much worse managers. And if people don't like Chris Davis, it's okay. That's fair enough. If you don't think he deserves the place of manager, then that's okay. It's the way you talk about it or the way you explain it, because we don't have that, do we? Like, I've been a Blues fan for a very, very, very long time. Never ever booed players or the club. Um, I've made opinions about. I've had opinions about managers not being brilliant, but I've never expressed it the way I've seen it expressed this week. And I just think, number one, it's really disrespectful. Number two, it ain't Blues. Um, Beck's saying, good afternoon, boss. How you doing, Beck? Hope you're all right, love. Tina Baker is on. How you doing, Tina? You all ready for a... Your blood pressure's all right today, so you'll be okay. So far it is. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, so, there's a lot of crap spoken. It's the gaffer's birthday on Friday, tomorrow. So, obviously we're going to wish him happy birthday. So, we're bound to have someone come on and tell him something or other, and then they'll be leaving the group. You know how it is. We've just hit our 25,000 milestone, while people are telling me, or some people, it's only like the odd one or two do it, hey, it's a crap group, soon you'll be bloody this and that and the other, like we've just gone over 25k, 1.5 million people in the last 28 days have interacted, all the usual stuff, but we are who we are. We're blues fans in this group. Emily Mole put a really brilliant post on earlier, sort of explaining what it is to be blues, and it's exactly right. That's what we are. Villa are the bedwetters. Villa are the ones that get the bed sheets out. Villa are the ones that, it ain't us. We're used to it. I just don't get it. I don't. But and don't tell me, you might want to watch shit. I've watched shit for the last 60 years, mate. So fucking. We're used to it with blues, with Small Heath. That's us. I don't give a shit. For me personally, and I probably because I've been at St Andrews for so many years, that's our spiritual home for me, St Andrews. And I don't know when the new place comes, it's going to be different, but have your hot milk steaming. You know what this is, Tina, right? I'll tell you what this is. This is collagen and magnesium. And I've just made a coffee, which is there. And I like to have hot water in this. It's like a lemon flavour, this is. So once it cools down a little bit, it's sort of like Lemsip, but it's collagen and magnesium, so there you go. Just had my protein powder a few minutes ago as well. Jesus. But yeah, I didn't realise you could see the steam. I should have put it down there and you would have thought it was a steam coming off my head, wouldn't you? That's hot actually, that is. Look, you can't see it, can you? Let me just show. There it is, look. Pretty good really, $4.95 from Lidl in Spain, that is. Magnesium and collagen mixed, so that's good. It's not me hot milk. Fucking hot milk, cheeky git. So anybody else got anything funny to say? Tina, I couldn't remember what your coffee thing was, what you said. All right. So what I've in this coffee here is it's like caramello coffee, and I have almond milk in it. I've been trying to shed a bit of body fat, and so I've cut out I've cut out all my dairy at the moment. So yeah, but it is nice. Almond milk is nice actually. I'm surprised how much I like it, and so I have that in my coffee, in my blues mug, as you could see. I know this makes for interesting listening. Tina, I had steam coming off my head. Idiots in one group saying women shouldn't comment on football and about and should stick to clean. The thing is, Tina, all joking apart, that sort of misogynist comment is just out of order, and we'd never. This is the problem with the groups. And again, I had a conversation with another friend of mine who's a Blues fan a few days ago, and well, that was it. Almond milk, yes, nice, it's good, and no fat in it, and no dairy, of course. So I was talking about this, like the misogynist thing, and it's like the groups that allow those sort of comments. You may as well allow racism in the group, or because it's the same sort of thing. It's a very, very similar thing, isn't it? So because you're a woman, you're a lesser person. Because you're black, you're a lesser person. Because you're Asian, you're a lesser person. Because you whatever. And of course you're not. and that's the thing. So I think that's really, really, it's like a very disrespectful, shitty thing to say. And I hope whoever wrote it, I hope his missus sees it and probably fucking throws him out. He's probably kissing his missus' ass, doing whatever he's told, which is all right. But you know what I mean? It's just shit. And if people haven't got, listen, if you've got a group that's got 12,000 people, 13,000 members in it, which a few of them have, the bigger ones, and you've got two admins and no moderators, then you know exactly what's going to happen, don't you? You just let them do what they want. All right, fine. If you're happy with that, it's okay. And if someone, Tina, had you reported that misogynist comments to Meta, they would have handed a ban to him or removed him or something, But I bet if you made a comment or reported it in the group, nothing would happen. I promise you that. They're all scared to ban and move anyone. We're not. We stand up for what we think. It's all right to talk the talk, but you got to walk the walk, ain't you? Harry saying, because you're a Villa fan. Yeah, well, that's it, innit, mate? I've been accused of being a Villa fan loads of times, but, listen, anyone that knows me will know that's nothing further than the truth, At least I'm covered in blues tattoos and all sorts. And I've been watching the club for, I don't know, like 60 odd years, almost. And I've seen thin and thinner, I mean, I was saying the other day that we've won 2 trophies in 150 years. Don't be crying because we're 10th in the championship. Fucking 2 trophies, 150 years. Sake. It's enough to do your head in, though, isn't it? Really, it really is. But looking at things as they are at the moment, if I had to sort of tell you what I think has gone wrong at Blues, and I don't have to, of course, but I'm going to tell you. Because we all have a look at it and think, what is it? I don't know. The easiest thing to do is blame the manager. Of course it is. It's, he's the one that's in the end, like the buck stops there, doesn't it? So fair enough if you want to blame the manager. But I'll tell you a couple of things here, right? The first thing, a few comments at the weekend in our group, in other groups, were like, same old, sideways, backwards. He's only got one thing. He's got no plan B. What's it? You know what? They didn't even realise that he changed the setup. They didn't even know. So they're watching it, and they didn't know that we were playing a different formation. People just didn't know. They had no idea. So here you experts, side to side, backwards, don't know what you're doing, blah, 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 play the same old formation every time, no plan B. It completely changed the way we played on Saturday, which, by the way, was an absolute disaster. But he did. He changed the setup. He changed the way we played, and we were awful. So for all those of you that were saying you wanted 3 centre halves and you wanted to play with wing backs, that's what you got. You were all saying this would be a good idea. Well, there it was. You've seen it. It's not an attacking formation at all. It's a defensive one. And if you're going to play it away from home. But it doesn't suit us. We got a team that's got 4 really good wingers in it, and we play wing backs. What on earth are we doing? And Osman's not a wing back. I think like the gaffers obviously said to him, listen, these are your defensive duties. This is what you got to do. And if you're not naturally that player, then it's going to be really hard for you to do it. It just didn't work. That's as simple as that. I do wish Chris would have made changes a bit earlier, but again, I'm not the manager. He is. He knows the players, and life goes on. Tina's saying the away tickets have sold out quick this season. I tried to get Hull tickets today. 10 it opened to season ticket holders, and they sold out straight away. Couldn't get them. It's been like this. I know most of the season, and the thing is, I'm guessing that all the ones that were complaining last Saturday didn't want to see them play again. They were shitting that. They're probably not going to Hull, I would imagine. so we wouldn't see them commenting on the next game. But of course, we know that's a lie, don't we? Because they'll go, and that's fair enough. Brilliant. We have great away support, and we could sell out away 3 or 4 times. So if you go away from home and you're lucky enough to get a ticket, don't come on and complain about going away from home. We go up and down the country. We deserve. Yeah, but so would loads of other people if they could. They just can't. They can't get in. And I think what's going to happen is going to be, I think, with Blues, probably next season, I think Villa are doing it, where you have 20% of the away tickets put to one side and they go on general sale. And that allows people that haven't got season tickets, that haven't travelled away before, to get the foot on the door, in the door, And I sort of think that's fair, personally. I know a lot of people won't. The people that won't agree with me will be the people that are like on platinum or whatever. The people that will agree with me, the people that like Tina that can't get away tickets. So it's a difficult one. I know it is. I mean, when we used to go and watch Blues away, like fucking wake up on Saturday morning with a hangover, ring your mate up. You got your van this weekend, yeah? Do you want to go to fucking Cardiff? Yeah, yeah. Come on then, come pick me up. You're still hungover. Off you go in the van with about 6 or 7 others. You get to the game, you pay in, you watch. It's different now. Of course it is. I understand that, but it's difficult, isn't it? Harry Parker, it was genius. I saw Ryan Dean. He wrote, "What's going on? That's not how we play." The change must have made a lot easier for all the complaining. They like the way we play. I do, just needs to be better, not different. It's not. We're probably going to finish 10th, aren't we? 11th, 9th, 8th. It's all right, It's not bad for us. It's not bad. Stop getting all. Listen, my lenses are playing up. I've got to have a quick look at this. Tina's saying, what annoys me is WhatsApp group where it's constantly negativity if we win, but they've all bought Ipswich tickets and Hull. Don't go if you're going to keep moaning. Yeah, a lot buy them knowing they can't go just to get their priority up, and that is annoying. That is, if people buy tickets when they're not going to go, or they buy the ticket and sell it to someone else so they keep their priority status. And it's something the club's going to look at. I know they will, because obviously they want to expand the fan base. And if you're a fan and you can't go away, you can never go away from home because you haven't got any history, then you're probably not going to be a fan for that long if you're a new fan. Whereas if you've always got a 20% chance of getting a ticket, then you can try, can't you? It's an interesting argument or conversation, not argument. At the end of the day, I think something will be done along those lines, but I honestly don't know. But I know some clubs are doing it. I know some Premier League teams are putting it in, and I think the EFL may make a similar sort of ruling for the Championship. Magnesium. Yeah, I mean, I've travelled all over the fucking country with Blues. I've been to the worst place in the world. Fucking your Millwalls when it was the Den, when it was, in Bermondsey, it was the hardest place you could go. But it wasn't actually. I always liked going to the Den. New Den's shit compared to the old Den. Cardiff away, Middlesbrough away, all these places that are hard to go to, they're scary and horrible. It's not like that anymore. It's sterile. You go to away games, not that it's a good thing that you can go without having to fight or get beat up or something. But make it sound like it's a difficult thing to do to go and watch them away, because it isn't. Of course it isn't. It's not a difficult thing to do. That's my magnesium done. My skin should look absolutely gorgeous soon. I think I look a little bit less crocodilian now. I'm not sure. It should make me skin smoother, and it should make my hair like more, what do you call it? You know, like blows in the wind a bit more and all that. You know. Yeah. So the coming season will be interesting. I think. Yeah. So I was talking about what I think went wrong with Chris Davis, or what's gone wrong this season for us, and I honestly think. And I know some people think that I've seen it, I've seen every comment you can think, but one of them is his buying was shit in the summer and his buying was shit in January. What's going on? Well, he doesn't. It's everywhere. It's been written. It's been told by Tom Wagner. It's been in every open house. There is a system for selecting our new players. The recruitment party, the recruitment team use software that finds players, that brings them in. The team of recruitment, the recruitment team thins them out to about 10 players or whatever, you know. And then they ask, are you all right with him? And he says yes or no, you know. So the actual recruitment isn't really down to Chris Davis, but I think the recruitment has been poor. I think in the summer, and it's been said a lot of times, and to start with, I didn't think it was right, but I think it is right now, more I think about it. I think we should have had a bit more championship experience purchased. But because I say, you know, that at the time I thought it was all right, then I can't really complain about it because that's exactly how the club thought when it looks all right, this does. You know, and look at the players individually, like when Kyogo signed and that, and I looked at his goals on YouTube, which is what everyone does, and you know, you think, Jesus, look at that, he's brilliant, isn't he? But then, you know, he has a mare, doesn't he? Richard DeVere saying, what's your views on what's gone wrong this season? I'm just saying it at the moment, actually. Do you think it may be the board and Knightshead using AI to troll stats and run possible outcomes, and maybe the season in general? Maybe they are micromanaging CD. They're probably accounting prem setups and matches in the AI. I think, well, I don't know, Richard, if you watched the very first open house which we were at, well, Beck actually, the whole thing was explained. You know, they use software to identify those players. So, and the most successful teams in the world play 4-2-3-1. That's sort of what it's based on, and the whole club plays that way, from 8-year-olds to the women's team, to the men's team, to the under-21s. They all play that system. So if Chris Davis leaves tomorrow, the same system will be played by whoever the next manager is. So you can forget your Sean Dyches and play like that, because he doesn't even understand what it is, right? So we're going to get a manager, if Chris Davis ever goes, that plays the same way. I'm not going to discuss Chris Davis's replacement because there isn't a vacancy. So, you know, if and when there's a vacancy for a Blues manager, then we discuss it. I don't think they micromanage him, but I just think that, you know, like the recruitment was poor. In the summer it was poor. We've had probably, I think, 7 or 8 centre-half pairings. We've had 2 goalkeepers, you know, fighting for this. We need to have 1 first-team goalkeeper. We need to have 2 centre-backs that are always, you know, there as much as they can be. You know, and the goalkeeper, that understanding in the back four just hasn't been there this season. It's been really poor. The team lacked height, badly lacked height. Just like, you know, little things like that make a huge difference. Tina's saying, I thought January recruitment wasn't too bad, but a lot of games they start and the bench don't really get it. Well, I've said this a few times, Tina, you know, that we've probably got 17 or 18 players that could start in that team. we've got 16 anyway, definitely 16 possible starters. Well, you can only select 11, and if you take the goalkeeper out, that's 10. So you're going to be left with 6 outfield players on the bench, no matter who you pick. So you then manage the team in the game. In-team rotation is the way most successful teams play. It's how it is. Richard De Vere, I want Davies to stay. To be honest, I think a number of fans are expecting too much. I think United put pressure on him by saying, they didn't actually say it, but more or less saying our aim is to get into playoffs this season. And honestly, they were selling season tickets. That's what they were doing. So everybody goes and buys season tickets on the back of that. Well, then don't complain when it backfires a little bit on the manager, Nighthead, because that's what's going to happen if you sort of build people's expectations up too much. Scotty Vaughan, are you satisfied with with finishing 10th or 11th, accepting second best? The problem we have is that we strengthened the team far too late in January, rather in the summer. Tell me why we're having teams. We'll be 2-4-1. We know we shouldn't expect that So someone here is, and I get this all the time. So you're happy with that, are you? Expect that every game, but style of play recently is shocking when losing. Well, so you just had 2 completely different setups, haven't you, Scott? So which one do you think is the best? Which setup would you go with? You tell me, right? I don't know. I don't pick the team. I don't buy the players. I've just explained who picks the players for the team. I'm happy finishing 10th or 21st or top. I am. I'm a Blues fan, right? If we went down next season, I'd be a Blues fan. If we go up next season, I'll be a Blues fan, right? I'm not privileged, mate. We've won 2 trophies in 150 years. It depends where you put your expectations, but because you have those expectations, don't accuse other people of not caring or, what's the matter with you kind of thing. I mean, I can say, what's the matter with you? Couldn't I, when did, how many trophies have you seen us win? And does it piss you off when we don't? Because it pisses me off when we don't. But I get pissed off every season, so I'm not going to come on social media and cry about it. I'm a Blues supporter. I can give an opinion, and I will, and you just asked me to, and I just have. And I've asked you which setup you think we should go with. What would you play? And the other thing is, I've just answered the other points about the players. I think the recruitment was poor. I definitely do. I don't think we had enough height. We didn't have enough players with not even championship experience, but British experience. We bought too many foreigners. You can't say it was too late in the window because some of our best signings that we've ever made have been signed late in the window. Stansfield, Iwata, all signed on the last day. Roberts signed on the last day, Richard De Vere, against Derby, I'd have gone 4-4-2. Stano and Prisker up top. Doyle and Duck in behind. So you'd have a 4-4-2. So Stansfield, hang on a minute, Doyle and Ducks, and 2 wide players, I'm assuming. Yeah, okay. 4-4-2. It's a little bit, it's all right, and sometimes we do sort of play 4-4-2 when we're going forward, like in possession. It's like in possession, sometimes we play with 3 at the back when we're in possession. When we're out of possession, we don't. Against Derby, I'd have gone 4-4-2. Right, yeah, I got that. Yeah, I was surprised I was absolutely shocked at the setup when I looked at it. I thought, what's going on? I couldn't understand it. First of all, I thought, well, Panzo must be playing left back. Then I thought, well, why would he be? So it was just a little bit confusing. Against Derby, we should have played the way we used to play in 4-2-3-1 because that's how Derby played and we're better at it than Derby. That was the annoying thing. Had we been playing Ipswich away, I still wouldn't want to play with 3 at the back, but it would make more sense. We were playing Derby, we wanted to win, we didn't want to draw. It's just frustrating, I mean, it is frustrating, I understand that, but You know, like I said, I've had like 60 years of frustration. So, and something that doesn't help is, you know, supporters are in the ground slagging the players off. It doesn't help when the goalkeeper runs into the goal and the fans behind him boo him. It doesn't. What do you think that's going to do? That encourages the other team, doesn't it? It puts a lot of pressure on the goalkeeper that doesn't need to be there, and it sort of supports the opposition. And if you're happy supporting the opposition, then because that's what it does. It helps the opposition. Um, Derby a lot like just they're sort of a bit like Millwall Derby, aren't they? They're like they're a business-like team, but they're nothing exceptional. Had it been we were playing a team, a Southampton or an Ipswich or teams that move the ball around, but we wasn't. That's the annoying thing. Harry Parker, we need to write these comments a bit slower because Steve doesn't read very fast. My lenses are playing up today, mate, and I can bring it a bit closer, I suppose. Yeah. The comment speed are fine actually. Um, they're a bit slow if anything. I don't know how many we've had. I don't think we've had many comments. Let's have a little look. No, we haven't. We've had 22, and we're half an hour in. So there you go. So there's a lot of things that we can look at and think, what would we change? Well, I think what we need to do for this close season is just look at the recruitment. That's what needs changing. I think we need to get a left-sided centre half that's going to start alongside Clara. We need to get a number 10 that's a proper number 10, and we need probably, although I know we bought Priska, I think Priska is one for the future. He was bought, I think he was bought because it was the right time to buy him. We would have paid another 5-6 million for him in the summer because summer prices are always more expensive in January, and I think he's got a great future. The lad's talented, but we could probably do with buying another striker, and then you can and then look around to who we can move out because some players need moving on. They definitely do, of course they do. On the fans slagging players off, I 100% agree. What bothers me is the lack of hostility from our fans to the opposing side. I agree with that. I started going to the Blues in '96, and I always remember the '90s being loud and rowdy. And now seeing it's a different kind of atmosphere now. Listen to away fans sing football in a library. Yeah, but football is just different now. It's nowhere. I mean, even the '90s, I mean, '80s was proper, like full on, hostility to the opposition to the point where you were fighting them every week. It's just so different now. And football in a library, I mean, those sort of songs, I don't give a fuck about that. Like, St Andrews is still a very intimidating place to play if when the atmosphere is right. We all know that. Tina saying, I couldn't believe the fans at Derby singing to them, you're fucking shit. Well, I would. Supporters have the right to a degree to express exactly how they feel, providing it's done, it's not abusive, it's not illegal, all those sort of things. I personally would never do that. Some people that watch Blues would, I wouldn't. So that's a personal thing. I don't understand that myself, but it ain't good, is it? I don't think it is. And I mean, fair play to Davies. He did take the players to the away support and clap them, and it takes a bit of balls to do that, really, because I think a lot of managers would have just trotted down the tunnel, but I don't know. What we can hope is that now, he's got a bit of time off until next week and get the players. I don't know, I think we need to just look now at what we're going to do in these next 7 games, put a bit of a plan in place, but he's still only got the players that he's got, and when they and when people say, oh, look at those players when they first game, well, first game we played Norwich, didn't we? Vicente was great, so was Osman, but only for 25 minutes. We were not very good actually after that, and we won 2-1, I know, and that was a great result. But these players as well, you have to remember, they're not used to playing 3 games a week, and at the time we're playing three times a week. They can't do it. The Spanish can't do it, the Germans can't do it. We've seen the Eredivisie support players that we've had in the squad. They can't do it. It, this is why I think we did make a mistake in not signing a few more English players with championship experience. I put my hands up, and I didn't think at the time. I thought we looking at the players on paper and on YouTube, I thought we'd made some really good signings, and it just hasn't worked, has it? Don't get me wrong, I mean, Dimmy's been brilliant. Uh, Pat Roberts has been great. Um, I think Solis is going to be like a major find for us. Absolutely, we look so out of sorts without him on Saturday. We didn't have that bit of uh, steel in the middle of the park. Just putting his foot in, making it difficult. They sort of walked through us at times. But we didn't know, there was no cohesion. Just a lot of players didn't really understand what they were doing a lot of the time. You can practice that back three for a week, and that team hasn't been playing like that for 2 years, and suddenly it's difficult, isn't it? Lee Harvey's on. How you doing, Lee? Nice to see you, mate. It's the whole thing's a difficult thing, and I think we need to look at recruitment, look at it differently. If the way we're doing it isn't working, rip it up and throw it away, and let's get back to a little bit more basics in terms of who we sign. A couple of Premier League players who probably aren't getting into the team, a couple of Championship players who are really, really good, and there are some really good ones, and then organise it properly and organise it to the way we play. If come Christmas we're not doing what we should be doing, then okay, but listen, it don't matter what I say. If the club, i.e. United, aren't happy with the manager, then they're going to move him on whenever they decide. So, at the end of the day, United are in this for money. So they're going to look at it and they're going to decide where they think they're going to earn the money from. And if it means leaving Chris Davis in for another season, not having all that change that's going to go to the club, and they think he'll succeed, then they'll keep him. If they don't, then they'll move him on. And that's a job for Knighthead. And those of you that think Knighthead is just Tom Wagner, think again, because it isn't. Knighthead has a big management team. Richard saying Simon Beadle look for a second choice Prem goalkeeper. I wouldn't personally. I wouldn't sign Beadle. I wouldn't sign him because I don't think there's much way back for him with the fans. Every goal that goes in, it doesn't matter how good. It's Beadle's fault. Even the game when he saved the penalty, saved an absolutely brilliant point blank save from Patrick Bamford. They still slagged him. So I think he's been, he's had a tough season in a way, Beadle. Personally, he's had a bit of a tough season, but I think let's move him on. Let's get a first team keeper and just keep Rocky as a sub. Lee Harvey, listen to you on the beach, mate, having a beer. For it's 7 p.m. somewhere in the world. Yeah, well, it is. The clocks go forward, don't they, on Saturday, which is brilliant for me because I'm always too lazy to make my clock work when you have to put it back. So every summer I look forward to it because the clock on my car's right. Fucking brilliant. Scotty Vaughan, I've seen Blues win one major trophy, the Carabao Cup, and I've seen Blues win the Leyland Daft. It's not really, I know I've seen those as well, but I don't really count those. I support the Blues, whatever, but we should be competing in the Premier League and in Europe. Yeah, but what, I mean, why do you expect that, Scotty? You know, I mean, why do you say that? Tell me why you say that. I've been supporting Blues since 79-80 season. Um, and seen failure and seen Blues away in over 70 different grounds. Yet, did you watch Gray v Sheffield United? He was wasteful, and Roberts didn't play the best. And against Stoke reserves was. What does that mean? You've just told me about how you support Blues. You've watched them for 30 odd years, and then suddenly say, "Did you see him play Sheffield United?" Of course I did. I don't understand what you're saying. So, and then you say, you know, against Stoke they played shit. All right, you know that it's your opinion. It's got nothing to do with what we've done for the last 30 years. I don't understand what you're talking about. And also, you know, you still haven't said what, you know. So, what setup would you play with? You know, what would be your ideal way of watching Blues? You know, what kind of system? You know, Sean Baldock's here. How you doing, Sean? Hope you're all right, mate. Yeah, yeah. I just don't. I understand what you're saying. You know, and you've seen Blues away in over 70 different grounds. Yeah, so have loads of us. Did you? And then you say, did you watch Gray against Sheffield United? What's that got to do with what the other stuff you've just said? I don't understand that. I watched Blues play shit loads of times this season. I watched Blues play loads of shit over the last 60 years. So, you know, I don't get the point. And I don't know why we should be in the Premier League or Europe. You can't just demand that you're there. You can hope that you're going to be there. I'm pretty sure there's some Solihull Moors fans that want to be there. But, you know, expectation and actuality are two different things, aren't they? You know, nothing makes us any different to loads of other teams. Lee saying Solis, yeah, I think we will sign him. We've got that, you know, we've got that agreement in place. So, and I think he's played the 11 games. I'm not sure. I think he has. But we'll play him. We will sign him, and he's a wonderful, um, you know, breaks the play up, sits in front of the back four. I've said several times before that would quite like to see us play 4-1-4-1. I think it would suit the way we play. So your four defenders, then Solis in front, you know, and then another four, and then one striker. I think it would suit us. Um, Tina Baker saying, Scotty, you have said we are shit, but they say we should be playing in the Premier League. I know, I know. It just does me in a bit, to be honest with you. Um, I think Lee's saying that Solis is his favourite player. See, Lee, for instance, right, doesn't rate August Priska. I do, but we can talk about it and we can agree not to agree. You know, but he doesn't come and go, Priska's fucking shit, and so, you know, it's like, why is it so? I don't understand why it's so like abusive and. I mean, what's the matter with? What's wrong? Are we having who's seen the shittest performance? Well, if you had a who's seen the shittest performance, Harry, it'd probably be you because I think you probably watched Blues longer than any of us. You know, um, but I mean, I can't remember our shittest performance, but I wouldn't want to. But you know, if you're looking at this season's results and you think that our performance has been shit this season, you weren't watching us 3 seasons ago, were you? Or 4, or 5, or 6, or 7 seasons ago, when we were really shit. Yeah, Lee, it is banter, you know, and opinions differ, but there's ways of making opinions. You don't have to like resort to stupid remarks and out of context things. You know, you're talking about Blues over the last 30 years, and then say, did you watch them play 3 weeks ago? Of course I did. I don't, you know, why does me watching them play shit have anything to do with anything? Unless it's probably saying, you know, you watched them, didn't you know it? Didn't you know they were shit? Yeah, but what's your point? I don't get it. Tina, get the blood pressure tablets. Uh, yeah, my lenses are fucked. You think blues are shit? Try these lenses at the moment. I don't know what's the matter with them. What I do sometimes is put them in the wrong eye because I've got a different one in each eye. And if I put them in the wrong eyes, your brain sort of gets a bit mixed up with them. Uh, yeah, so let's have a little look at the comments, see how many we got, see how we're doing. I don't think we're anywhere near what we have been getting. Um, we got 40. It's not bad for no games or nothing. This weekend will be a nice little weekend off for the moderators as well because you know they have to put up with some shit. I'm not joking. No one would want that job. I'm telling you, you know, everyone goes, oh, you know, like moderators have turned the bloody comments off or something. You know, try being a moderator for a weekend. William Atkins is saying, you speak the truth. How little we forget where we were. Uh, it's just true, William. You know, because I don't think we should ever forget who we are and where we come from. The same applies in life, you know. I lived in Great Colmer Street in town. You know, I could walk to the Blues when I was a kid. That's my background. It doesn't matter where I live now, what I do now. That's me. That's me back there. Don't forget where you come from, and that's us. And that's what makes Blues special is the fact that we are. When Villa say you're Smallheath, we are Smallheath. We're proud of that. You know, we're proud of being Smallheath. We don't cry every time. And you know, we're not historians. We don't go back and say, oh, look how brilliant we used to be. Who gives a shit, you know? Tina's saying, I'll send some to Spain. Lol. AIDS, garlic capsules. That's what you want. No, I don't want garlic capsules. I don't, to be honest with you, like, I like garlic, but it makes you stink, doesn't it? So I can't be doing that. Um, nah, nah. Sean saying, I've seen some poor ones over the years. I thought this was poor season uh, until I listened the system and the way we play, and now I really enjoy it. I think we have fans that don't understand the system. I agree with that and get frustrated, but they are too pig-headed to. That's the trouble. See, and when you ask to admit they don't understand, thing is, Sean, when you ask them like what system would you play, they can't answer you because they don't know and they don't really understand it. Like I said, loads of people were saying that against Derby, same old, sidewards and backwards, same. I mean, what's the matter with him? You know, he's got no plan B. They didn't even know that he changed the setup for that game, and they were watching it. They couldn't see it. That's how annoying it is. William saying true words, Steve. Somebody up. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Lee saying Jay from Boy in Blue. Google it, Steve, about comments going, etc. It said, came as what you said, to turn them off after so many of the comments is offensive, could be blocked. So Jay, who I know really well, said about comments going, etc. I said, same as what you said, to Facebook turns them off. So many as of comments. So I don't know. So was Jay Jay slagging us off for turning the comments off? Because I'd be really surprised and disappointed if he was, because we've helped Jay a lot, you know, and that would surprise me if he said that, and I'll be asking him about it. We don't turn comments off. Facebook turns them off. We do turn them off sometimes, and when we need to, we do. For instance, you could get a load of posts on where the moderators can't keep up with the comments, so they turn the comments off for a bit while they catch up, because the other option is to just let people say what they want, and that's never going to happen. Lee's saying, always said Steve's top 10. Yeah. I see, yeah. Oh, yeah, so Jay said Facebook turns them off, not us, yeah. It does. We do turn them off sometimes, you know, we do. Just to keep the group safe and to make sure no one gets slagged off, to make sure we don't get the idiots on that can come on and call people names and do this and that and then get away with it, because we don't have that either. Steve Donnelly saying it makes me laugh when people slate the team, the manager, after a few whiskies, and then delete it and start everyone else for doing the same. You're absolutely right there, mate. Because I'll tell you something in a sec. Tina's saying, I think Lee means in this chat, Facebook turns them off. Oh yeah, it does in this. It does, yeah. I mean, anyone can come on this. You know, you can come on here and say what you like to me. And I always say to people, if you want to come on here and have a go at me, do it. Very rarely do people do it, but they're welcome to if they want. Yeah, the one about like people getting drunk and saying stuff. People come on, they do all that abuse, blah 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 blah, and then I get a message the next day, Steve, I got banned for some reason. Do you know why? And I go, yeah, because this happened. And they come back, so what can I come back on? I say, I'm sorry, like once it happens, once that's it. And they come back and go, oh, you stick your fucking group up your ass. And then I go, see, like you've just proved my point for me. Do you know what I mean? Richard, not strictly true. Not strictly Blues related, but what's your view on our chances of winning the World Cup? Blues? I don't know. Honestly, you know what, Richard? I'm not that bothered about international football. I'm really not. It's in America, isn't it, as well? There might be a European boycott as well, so we don't know yet what's happening with that. I don't rate England's chances of winning it, to be honest. You know, I think if we get into the last four, it'd be really good. Teams to win it, I think you know, Spain are one of the best teams in the world, aren't they? You know, I think we understand that. South Americans always do quite well when it's over that side of the world. I don't know. Who do you fancy, Richard? Who would your money be on? I don't know. Not Scotland, but yeah. So with this particular chat that we're on, when we reach 100 or around 100, so I think we've got away with 116, 117 before. Facebook turns it off, and the comments, you can't make any more comments. And then like about an hour later, when we've stopped, the comments come back on, and Facebook turns them on and turns them off. It's how Facebook works. Also, like if there's a certain amount of, like even in the main group, if there's a certain amount of comments that go through in a very short amount of time, they turn them off because they think there's some sort of spammery going on. So that happens as well. Yeah. So I don't know what spammery is, but I think you know what I mean. Yeah. So with the World Cup coming up, the good thing is, of course, that we have got the World Cup in the summer, so it's not going to be a long summer of no football. I hope we get in there early. I hope we start to make some championship signings, which I would like this time. We tried it that time. For 2 years. We've tried buying the foreigners, and we've had some good results with it. But we haven't had a good enough result, you know, because we just don't look good enough. We're not big enough. We can't get a settled back four. And we're still short of a playmaker, you know, we are. Richard saying, I think it will be the Spain or a complete outsider, like when Greece won the Euros. God, do you remember that when Greece won the Euros? Spain were always good, you know, and it's strange actually because everyone says, you know, Spain, well, best team in the world, aren't they? And what system do they play? 4-2-3-1. That's what, you know, your Vicentes and your Solis and players like that, they're used to playing that way. But they're not used to playing 3 times a week. They're not used to playing against players that are very physical sometimes. Spanish football isn't like that. And I think it's pretty much the same as well. When you look at the Germans, they not, you know, like they can't compete physically with us. Tina's saying, yeah, that's what Lee was on about. Don't think they have been slagging your group off. So hopefully your blood pressure's gone down already. Sean saying you have to kick you out of this league. I don't think Millwall have kicked the way out. I think it's a bit unkind, Sean. They're not the best footballing team, but they're set up to do what they do. I think if you look at those teams at the top of the championship at the moment, so right, who's going to come straight back down if they go up? All right, Coventry, uh, Middlesbrough, Millwall, Wrexham, Derby. These are the teams that have still sort of realistically got the chance of doing it. So the only ones I think have got a chance of staying up are Southampton and Ipswich. So as Scotty's saying, as a club we need to be more ambitious. I think we are being more ambitious, than accepting finishing halfway in the Championship. I will support the Blues regardless of what division they're playing, but we are Birmingham City and should be playing in the Premier League and want to be competitive. Well, I mean, I know, I want to be competing in Europe and everywhere else, I've seen Blues win the Carling Cup, I have, yeah, the League Cup, yeah, Leyland Duff, yes, yeah, I've seen Blues in Europe, yes, me too, and in the Europa League in Bruges, yeah. The Anglo-Italian, mate, I'm sorry, you're not counting that. But yeah, Europa. The Anglo-Italian was just a fucking joke competition. But yeah, Europa League, of course. Um, but it's like you said, just like if we look back to our history, we all want to be top of the Premier League and winning the European Cup. Every single team in the country does. The point I'm making is you can't be slagging the manager off because we're not doing it. You can't be slagging the manager off because we're not winning the championship. Um, Everyone's got the right to say they don't think we're doing the right thing. That's fine, but not the way it's been. It's been absolutely disgusting. I honestly think. Harry's saying we need Barry Bannon to change his name, have plastic surgery, and he don't need to shave his head. He could get some turkey hair. He is a very good footballer, but Richard's saying, got to go, mate. Been a pleasure. You too, mate. Come back on again, Richard. It's been nice, mate. Um, Barry Bannon, not anymore. I think he doesn't get in the Millwall team. 5 years ago, yeah, he's always been a really nice footballer, he has, and I sort of admired what he did at Sheffield Wednesday, and I don't blame him for leaving right at the end the way he did because he's got to make a few bob before he finishes. But yeah, but he's Villa and and I just don't like him. But you have to take your hat off to him and say he's an extremely good footballer. He is, There's no doubt about that. So anyway, managed to get my blood pressure up a little bit today, not too much. We've been on for the hour, so I think we're going to sort of wind it up. I hope everyone's enjoyed our little chat, and thank you for joining me. And I don't think we're going to be on tomorrow. We'll be on Sunday morning. The Zoom one on Sunday is brilliant. You've got to come on that. We get a lot of views on that, both on Zoom, both on YouTube and in the group. So try and make that if you can. If you come onto it, you can actually come into the studio, talk to us face to face, put yourself on camera and talk. Everyone can do that if they want. So bear it in mind, and if you fancy it, we can do it. If you do want to do one on Saturday or something, Saturday morning, whatever, give me a shout, and if we can do it, if enough people want to do it, we'll do it. But it's been really nice chatting to you. William Atkins is saying Rome wasn't built in a day. Did really expect to go straight up. Next season will be the test. I agree. Sean Williams, keep right on. I think that Rome wasn't built in a day, but I do think that the club put extra pressure on Chris Davis by intimating that we were going to get in the top six, And I think the money spent in January proves that I try to do that. But you can't just buy, a lot of foreign players like that and drop six of them in the first team and expect us to respond, because it doesn't work like that. Players have to get to know each other, know the country. Had they been like, 5 or 6 championship players already lived here and know how then it's a different animal altogether. But I just think it was difficult, and I think the club will see that. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But Yeah, and for those of you again, you know, like a lot of people doubt what I say about um, players and members of the team, members of the club, looking at and responding to the page and to me. They do. Our moderators will tell you. Some of our members will tell you. I mean, like I said earlier in the week, Jeremy Dow made comments on a post last week, and often does, and often reads the group. You know, so bear that in mind when you're making comments, because some of the players and managers and some of the managers' family and stuff, they read, they're members in our group, and they see it, and it must be horrible for them. You know, imagine having your son, you know, like for instance, like Jay's nan, Gig Stansfield, is in the group, and we speak to her quite often. And Gig sees people going Stansfield shit, you know, and all. You know, it just that's a grandson. You know, a little bit of respect for people, please. They put the blue shirt on. They don't pick themselves, and they can only do the best, you know. So, Tina, bye bye. Everyone else, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an interesting hour or so, and always enjoy these little chats. It's good to have that like interaction, live interaction with the group. We've got a lot of stuff going on at the moment. My God, we've got loads of Easter eggs that we've collected for the kids, along with the blues, like our blues independent groups. We work with them as well. Emma Palmer has done an absolutely amazing job. We've had 150 odd goodie bags that we've made up. We've had over 100 Easter eggs that are going out to underprivileged children, and you know, some centres and families. So thank you for everyone that's contributed towards that. It's absolutely brilliant. And those of you that have contributed to our GoFundMe for the lady and her two children that were made homeless through fire last week, that we put a GoFundMe out there for, to try and get them some bits and pieces. They lost everything. You know, the kids haven't got anything. So, you know, all of you, thank you so much for helping us. We really do appreciate it. I love all of you. You know, our group is there for everyone, and we've got some exciting stuff coming up. I mean, me and Beck are doing a little special thing in the next month or so, so look out for that. And you know, absolutely brilliant, guys. Again, thank you so much. And there it is. Look, I'm having an addition to this. I'm having another bit added to this badge here around the back of my arm. I'll show it you next week. I'm hoping to get it done next week. Okay, have a fabulous day, guys. Thank you so much, and we'll speak soon. Up the Blues.